with me today. I am excited to share with you some cool stuff today. I'm going to show you some action items that you can implement in your business right away. So what is going on with this housing market? It is definitely interesting. There is some good news. We see purchase applications are increasing. So they went up almost 10% last week, which was kind of cool. Despite rates kind of hanging near that 7% mark, we're seeing buyers come off the fence and start to apply for mortgages. What does that mean? Well, that means we're going to have more buyers in the market. That's always a good thing. Springtime tends to be a busier time of year for most markets. I know that we have some seasonality here in the Phoenix market, and I'm sure that wherever you're at, there's probably some trends in seasonality there as well. So good news. Glad to see those purchase applications rising. Who knows what the Fed is going to do with rates? It was at the beginning of the year, everybody was kind of projecting that they were going to do a rate cut in March. We will see. Of course, all eyes will be on that meeting to see what comes out of it. And that's just here in a few short days, they're meeting. I want to talk today about how the riches are in the home selling niches. Because here's the thing. I believe that where we're headed in real estate is more of a niche specialization when it comes to us as real estate practitioners. And what do I mean by that? I mean that with everything going on in the world of real estate, with the commission lawsuits, with innovation, with the technology changes, I think that specialization as a realtor is going to become more of a thing. Now, I know that many of us already specialize in one aspect or another, but today I want to talk about a certain type of specialization when it comes to being a selling agent or a listing agent. So first off, I want to share with you some data that 1000 Watt recently published. This was a survey that they conducted of realtors, and they asked realtors this question on the scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about the commission issue? And what I found to be really interesting is that most folks aren't that worried about this commission issue. They're not worried despite the dozens of lawsuits, despite the billion-dollar verdicts, despite the Department of Justice intervention. They're not worried, which is really interesting. And, you know, maybe worried isn't what the word that I'm looking for that we should be, but we should definitely be prepared and definitely be ready. Because see, what I believe is that there is massive opportunity right now, especially considering most agents, most folks aren't real worried about all that's happening and transpiring in the world. I believe that we're going to see a fundamental change in buyer agency and the way that buyer brokers are paid. And I believe one of the best ways to hedge against that change is to double down on being a listing agent, is to double down on working with sellers. Now, I've kind of always believed that because when I started my real estate career, many moons ago, over 2 decades ago, I specialized in being a listing agent. I specialized in working with sellers, and I specialized in selling listings. And that is what I doubled down on, and it really served me. It allowed me to create that business that was scalable, duplicatable, put the processes and the procedures in place so that I could truly have a business and scale myself. And so what I see happening in today's real estate ecosystem is the need for this specialization even more. And what I truly believe is that those of us that are willing to take the time now and implement the practices now, we will set ourselves up for success, and we will leapfrog all of those that have their head in the sand, that think that nothing is changing and just want to kind of ignore what's happening all around them. Now, Fannie Mae recently released their home price sentiment index, and what they found is that a dismal percentage of buyers think that now is a good time to buy a home. And, you know, not super surprising. Rates are still kind of high. There's not a ton of inventory on the market. And we know that all of those factors have really kind of diminished buyer demand. Thankfully, right? Because we saw how last year played out with that homeowner lock-in effect. There weren't as many listings on market. If there were a bunch of sellers selling their homes, we probably would have seen a decrease in home prices, nationally. We didn't see that. And in fact, we saw an increase in home prices in many markets across the US. And the forecast for this year is that we will see continued home price appreciation as buyer demand, it just kind of maintains a level space. But we could see, which could be interesting, more sellers. So the same home price sentiment index revealed that 65% of consumers say that now is a good time to sell. And if you look at the chart here, what you'll see is that we had some really dismal sentiment for selling a home back in, you'll see June 2022 through December 2023, kind of ticked up a little bit last year, fell back down, and now we see that sentiment increasing. And so more people are saying that it is a good time to sell. This is good news. This is good news because we need more inventory on the market. And I want you to be the ones that are able to take these listings to market and get this inventory and really be a leader in your market with listings. So Fannie Mae, their chief economist, said that consumer attitudes towards home selling conditions increased markedly in February, with current homeowners in particular expressing greater optimism that it's a good time to sell, a development that may foreshadow an upcoming increase in existing home listings. Additionally, despite the recent uptick in rates, consumers remain relatively optimistic that mortgage rates will decrease over the next 12 months. If their expectations come true and rates move closer to the 6% mark by the end of 2024, as we currently expect, then it's likely that consumer sentiment on both sides of the transaction will improve, perhaps leading to a further thawing of the housing market. So this is good news. So buyers and sellers alike, especially if we see some pressure come down on rates, what we're going to likely see is the market pick up a little bit, which is great news. And so what I want to talk today about is really niching down when it comes to your seller focus, because there are many sellers that we can be working with. A few weeks ago, I did an entire coaching call on baby boomers, and we have a lead magnet. It's the Baby Boomers Guide to Downsizing, and we really focused on the baby boomer demographic. And you can really niche down in any of the sellers that we have here today. So who are the sellers you can niche down on? Well, you can niche down on first-time sellers. So people that purchased a home, they've never sold a home before, and you could niche down and you could specialize your marketing, specialize your message to first-time home sellers. They have a unique set of circumstances. They've bought a home, but they've not sold a home. So they don't know what that's like to actually go through the home selling process. And so you could really focus on helping them make those good decisions when it comes time to selling their home. You could also focus on upsizing sellers. So here's the sellers that are going to be selling and buying into a bigger home. You could be focusing on downsizing sellers. So those would be like those baby boomers. You could focus on relocating sellers. You could focus on estate sellers, on investor sellers, distressed sellers, luxury sellers, historic home sellers, vacation second home sellers, as is sellers. All of these sellers, though, I believe tie in to this last niche down and what I really want us all to be focusing on, and that is providing sellers optionality. And that in and of itself is a niche. And I really want you to think through how these big real estate websites, so think Zillow, think Opendoor, think Realtor.com, think Redfin, what is their main value proposition that they're providing to sellers? Get a cash offer. That is exactly what they're providing to sellers. That instant, here is your cash offer. And if you go through the sequencing on, for instance, Zillow, what you're going to find is that when you click that cash offer button and you go down the funnel that will then lead you to Open Door, you're going to see about a dozen different cash offer numbers for your home. You're going to see it displayed as a range. You're going to see it displayed next to a value of your home, all these different cash offer numbers. And what it really translates into is an experience for the consumer that's somewhat confusing. So they're looking to get this cash offer, but then they're being displayed all of these different cash offer values for their home. And as you can imagine, through the process, it can be a little overwhelming. You're seeing all of these different numbers and you're going, which one is it? And so what I want you to realize is that consumers want the cash offer, but they want it from you. They would rather have you by their side. And there's data to actually back this up. So 1000 Watt did a study, it was, I believe, almost 2 years ago, when they uncovered that homeowners do want to see the cash offer options, but they would prefer to see them from a real estate agent. They don't necessarily want that directly from the cash offer company. And so you have a unique advantage in this space because you can bring them that cash offer and you can bring them those different options. But what you can also do is give them that fair, honest opinion of what their home would sell for on the open market. I mean, it was a while ago, but many of us still remember the FTC fine to Open Door. I think it was over $60 million. They fined Open Door for misleading consumers on the true market value of their home. So Open Door at the time was telling homeowners, here's your cash offer and here's what you could sell for on the open market. And they were misleading the consumer on what their home was worth on the open market. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, it's a big deal because if a homeowner is going to the site and they're going to make the decision on taking that cash offer with what Open Door was displaying as the market value, you can see here that if the market value wasn't accurate, it would skew their decision making. And so ultimately what it translates down to is they want you to give them that fair, unbiased look at all of their options. And then from there, they can make the best decision. So I really want us to think through how we can niche down to be the provider of optionality in our marketplace and be the one that leads with these opportunities, doesn't just respond to them. And I talk a lot about leading with this messaging versus responding to this messaging for a few reasons. And one of the reasons is there are people that are in your database that are taking cash offers to sell their home that aren't even reaching out to you because they don't even think that you have this option available. And so you're losing business. I guarantee it, because I talk to people all the time. I talk to real estate agents all the time from across the US, and I hear story after story about how someone in their database, someone that's close to them, a brother, an aunt, someone that they know, interact with, takes a cash offer from a cash offer company and doesn't even consult with them because they weren't even aware that they had that same similar offering. So that's one of the reasons. And then, you also have to be aware of changing consumer sentiment. And as kind of convenience and certainty become more and more important to people, cash offers, the easy exit, the dealing with not having to deal with uncertainty become drivers in decision making. And then there's a value that that consumer places on having convenient, having certain, having, an easy exit now and not having to go through the traditional process of listing their home. So I want to just remind us that these are the factors at play now, and these are what we have to contend with in our marketing, in our messaging, and of course, when we're, at the kitchen table and we're having conversations with sellers. I love looking at Google Trends, and every so often I pull it up to see what's changed, and there was a change. So there's been a breakout in search terms for should I sell my house now or should I wait till 2025? I want to highlight this because, see, here's what's happening. So sellers are going onto Google and they're Googling sell my home. And then what they're doing is they're also Googling, should I sell my house now or should I wait till 2025? So this is one of the top questions that sellers have right now when it comes to selling their home. They're wondering if now is the right time for them. There's a ton of uncertainty right now. The market's uncertain. We have an election coming up, which is going to bring a ton of uncertainty. And many times when people are in that uncertain space, or maybe they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the uncertainty, what they'll end up doing is they'll just kind of stop and they won't take action one way or another, and they'll just stay put. And so what I think is really important is that we make content on our social media feeds, and you can turn this content into, video content, written content. You could send it out in an email blast to your database, all the things. But what I think is really important is that we speak to the questions that people are having when it comes to selling their home. And so we know that they're thinking about, is now a good time or should I wait? Here are the other things. They're Googling sell my house fast. And so we gotta have messaging out there on how we can help people sell their home fast. Sell my house for cash continues to be at the top. So we gotta talk about how they can sell their house for cash. And then should I sell my house or rent my house? Still a top question on sellers' minds. I mean, if we think about where we're at and we think about a lot of sellers that may have amazing interest rates in the 3s, potentially some in the 2s, maybe even some in the high 1s. And we know that these sellers are viewing that interest rate as an asset. And so they're asking themselves the question if they should sell the house or rent the house. And I really believe that you need to be making content consistently that covers all of the top things that people Google in relation to selling their home. I mean, just makes sense. Now, I'm going to give you today, I've got 4 scripts for you. So I'm going to load you up with a script that will tackle each of these, and you can take that script and turn it into a video, turn it into an email, turn it into whatever you would like to turn that into. But you know what would be even better is if you have an actual story you can weave into each of these. I think that would make it even better if you could tell a story about a client that maybe you were able to get their home sold fast, or you could tell a story about a client that was contemplating, is now a good time or should I wait, and maybe they ended up selling now and getting a good deal on the home that they're buying, or whatever that story might be. Be thinking through how you could weave in your own personal story into all of these. But for now, I do have some video scripts for you because I want you to be tooled up and prepared to answer these questions. I think they're really important. And so I'm going to leave you today with these 4 scripts. We have a script for should I sell my house now or should I wait? It's a really easy script. You could record this. I think you could record all 4 of these scripts fairly quickly. I would say probably 20 minutes or less and you're done. You could do it natively in the Instagram Reels app. I love Instagram just to create Reels. I think it's so easy, and you could do that with your phone. You literally need nothing else. You don't even need a microphone, because you could just hold your phone close to you, about a foot close to you, and record each of these lines kind of one by one. When I record a reel, I will press the record button, read a sentence, and then I'll stop, and then I'll do it again, and then I'll stop the record. And so basically by the time I'm done, it's this very short, condensed version of what I'm trying to say with no pauses in between. And it just goes really quick. And of course, that's good, digestible content for the viewer. And then of course, add your captions on Instagram Reels. Then you could save that as a downloaded file. So then maybe if you wanted to run an ad against any of these videos, you could, or you could just post it, but then you could also take it and throw it on YouTube as a short, throw it on Facebook as a story. You could, throw it on as a reel. You could even share it and cross-post it over to LinkedIn, TikTok, all the things. You have all of the content. But you got to be keeping these value propositions in front of people over and over and over again. And so I think that's really important. All right, so this is the one on should I sell now or should I wait? Sell my house fast. Here's another script on, hey, here's how you can sell your house fast, right? Again, make this content, guys. It's easy, it's free. And the reach that you can have by putting this content out is incredible. Again, consider running ads against these videos. Video ads perform so well. And in fact, the less scripted, the less produced ads, the better. So if you're running an ad and you're just recording this video selfie style, that ad is probably going to outperform some well-produced ad. The reason why is because consumers' BS meters are so high now, and when they see an ad where it's just selfie style video recording, it feels real and organic, and they connect with that. They're actually making a connection with you. It's parasocial psychology. If you study it, what you'll find is that they actually start to make a connection with you just based on your video. It's incredible. All right, here's one for how you can sell your house fast for cash. Of course, the beauty of all of these questions that sellers have is by niching down and being that purveyor of seller optionality, you become the resource in your market for all things cash offers and options. And what could even happen as a side effect of this is you could have other agents reaching out to you going like, hey, Kayla, I see you make a lot of content about cash offers. I have a client that may work for. Is there any way you can get me one of these cash offers that you have access to? And what you're going to find is that you're going to start not only getting that interest from homeowners, but also from other agents. It's absolutely incredible. Watch what happens when your messaging shifts to being that purveyor of optionality. And then of course, here is the sell my house or rent. Another great video that we gotta be making because sellers are considering this. It's one of their options in their mind, and they're asking themselves this question. And so what I also wanna do today is I wanna take us through a simple step-by-step process of how you can run a Facebook ad against your blast landing page. And the reason why is because we know that their consumer sentiment for selling a home is up, and we know it's spring selling season, so people are in that consideration phase. We also know that there are a lot of folks that are in their home and they aren't quite ready, but maybe they're feeling the itch, they're curious, they want to explore their options. And so here's a great way for you to engage those folks. So what the blast landing page is, I'm going to show you in just a moment where you can find that. So when you've upgraded to blast, what you can do is advertise the opt-in page for that blast homeowner report. And for those of you that aren't familiar with blast, so what blast is it's essentially a homeowner report. It's an email that gets emailed out to folks on a monthly basis, and every month it'll show them their change in their real value. It'll show them their cash offer options. It has some cool success stories. They can interact with this report, all the things. Now, what's really cool is that this blast report is getting a massive update from Zoodealio developers. The new blast report is absolutely insane. And so I want to encourage all of you to get on it, get using it now, so that when that report is updated, you're the first ones to have it and the first ones to be using it. So from your agent dashboard, so I'm just switching over to my Zoodealio agent dashboard. In order to find this blast page, you got to have your blast activated. So if you don't have blast and you want to get in on blast and you want to get in early, we may have a special promo for you. Reply to this email that gets sent out and we'll hook you up. We'll get you in blast, we'll get you using it and get you all set up. So once it's set up, then you're going to see a screen similar to this. And it's going to give you your statistics, your management, your subscription, and your CSV import tab. So where I want you to go to find this link is you're going to click on management. Once you click on management, you're going to click this little icon. It says blast page link right by it. So you're going to click on that. And what that's going to do is it's going to copy your blast opt-in page to the clipboard. Okay, so now you have it in your clipboard. So I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to open a new tab, and then I'm going to go ahead and just paste in that link. And then I'm going to show you what that blast opt-in looks like. So here it is. It's just super simple. This page is all about getting someone to submit their information to you and just click that see my home value. Now, what will happen when they click it is you're going to be notified just like you would a new lead, because it is a new lead. And so as soon as they click see my home value, you're going to get a text message. It's going to tell you that you have a new lead, all of that fun stuff. So for instance, someone can just come in here and enter in their information. As they start entering in an address, it's going to do a Google autofill just like it would on their home survey. And then they can, select that. We do ask for their email address. This is great because it's going to email them the report, and then phone number optional, and then they would just register. So this is the Blast opt-in page. Now, the reason why we have created this opt-in versus just the cash offer landing page is because this is a much lower barrier of entry. And so think about, maybe the individual that's not ready yet, they're not ready to sell yet. And so they're not totally in that I'm ready to sell my house, I need to see what my options are consideration phase. This is for the individual that knows that they may want to sell soon, isn't quite ready, but is curious and really wants to start, kind of learning more about the market, their options, that sort of thing. What's really neat also about this is it's going to keep those value propositions in front of the homeowner. So let me show you, just because for those of you that are on today's call, maybe not all of you have seen the Blast report. So let me pull one up for you so you can see what that looks like. I'm going to kind of get into here the back end way. Okay, so when they come to their Blast report, this is what they're going to see. It's going to have their property at the top with their real value. They can change that and lock it in. So if they feel like that value should be more or less, they can do that. They can click here to leave a note to their agent. And then what's really cool is the cash offers come up right in front of them. And so they can explore different cash offer programs. The Cash Plus comes up and a little video, and then it also shows them more options that may be available to them as well. And then we have a video that's a testimonial, totally unbranded. All of this is unbranded, so it's gonna look like it is coming from you, and they can engage with this report. It will get sent to them every month, and so that they can see any changes in their report and all of that fun stuff. So that's what it looks like. And today I want to show you really quick how you can run an ad to this Blast landing page. And I want to show you how simple it is. So first thing I want to show you also is the media for it. Okay, so we have a very simple ad that you're going to use to run. Now, if you don't like this, you don't have to use it. You can use whatever you want. If you like it, great. I would also recommend maybe doing a video opt-in. So you could record a video inviting them to monitor their home's value, check out their cash offers, and stay in the know for their home's trends. So you could do that too. But I wanted to give you something that you could use if you wanted to just go run an ad today and start gathering email addresses of people that are potentially in the consideration phase of selling their home. So very simple ad. It's just monitor your home value, your cash offer options, your selling options. And I have this ad for you in 2 different formats because on Facebook, when you go to run the ad, it's going to need a couple different formats in order for it to display well across platforms and across stories and reels and news feeds and all of that fun stuff. So I'm going to give you this. You're going to get this today. And that way you can take it, you can use it, because when we get to media, that's the media that you can upload if you don't want to create your own, or if you don't want to create a video. Super simple. How to run a Facebook ad against your Blast page. First, you're going to go to your Facebook Ads Manager. You're going to click Create. From there, you're going to select what campaign objective you would like. I'm going to recommend that you go for traffic. You want Facebook to serve this ad up to individuals that are going to go to your website, okay? Because we're sending them to that Blast page. So we're pulling them off Facebook, we're sending them onto this page. When it comes to choosing the campaign setup, I'm just gonna recommend that you use recommended settings and click continue. Super simple. Facebook is going to optimize your campaign to perform as best as possible. And so using those recommended settings is always a good idea. Next, you're gonna name your campaign. And so you could name it your Blast opt-in. And you also are going to select the housing category for this. Now, it's kind of a bummer. The housing category takes away a lot of the fun targeting stuff that we can do in Facebook. However, because it is related to housing and it's a special ad category, you gotta select it. If by chance you get away with not selecting it and getting your ad up and running, they're gonna find you, they're gonna stop your ad. You're probably not gonna get away with it and you could end up being in Facebook jail. So I don't recommend that. It's just not worth it. Play by the rules and it will serve you well. So select the housing category. It does take away some of our fun targeting stuff, but it just is what it is. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to select basically how you want the traffic to come to you, and you want it to come to your website. We're going to give them the link to your website here in just a minute. So you're going to click website now, and then I'm going to recommend that for performance goal, the performance goal for you is going to be maximize the number of link clicks, because you want them to click your link. So the other option is just an impression of your ad, but I really believe that you want that link click, you want to get them to click, and you want them on your actual opt-in page. I don't put any cost per result in there. I leave it blank. Maybe as the ad is ongoing, you can always go back in and edit that if you find that you're getting, link clicks for a certain amount and you want to dial that down. You can always go back and change this. But for initially start setting up the ad, you're just going to leave that blank. Okay, next what you're going to do is you're going to select when you get charged for that goal. And I'm going to pick link click because I want to be charged when they actually click my link, not just for an impression. You're going to set your daily budget. And so you can do whatever you want. I put in $5. You could run $5 a day. That, see what that gets you. Then you're going to click your start and your end date, all of that stuff. Now, I want to talk for a moment on performance of ads, because here's the reality. You're going to start this ad, and it's not like you start it today and tomorrow you've got 50 leads and you turn it off and you're done and you're $5 later. That's not how it works. Keep in mind that Facebook is going to need several days of running your ad at your targeted budget in order to just determine who they can get to click it. And so if you cut your ad too short, you're doing yourself a disservice, because the algorithms need time to actually learn behavior and learn who's going to click your ad. And so what you want to do is you want to set your time frame out long enough for the ad to actually be effective. And here's the other thing. Facebook is going to tell you when you need to change up your ad. They're going to tell you if your ad's lost its mojo and if it's not performing as well. They want to serve your ad up to people that click it. And so they really are going to do all that they can to get it in front of the right people and do what they can. And then when it falls back on your ad performance, they're going to give you that indication if your ad's not performing. So put in your budget, put in your start, your stop time. Now is where you're going to put in your location. And as I mentioned, because we're in housing category, there's not a whole lot we can change here. We can do a location as small as a 15-mile radius. And so you could do multiple 15-mile radiuses if you like. You can do just one 15-mile radius. However you want to do it, you can. You could drop a pin at an address and do a 15-mile radius for that. So maybe if you're geo-farming or you're maybe you want it to be by your office, or maybe you want it to be by neighborhoods that you enjoy working in, you can drop that pin at that address and select from there. So super simple. Then you just come to the next place where now it's about naming your ad and uploading your media. And so that's where you're going to take the video, the little videos that we made here at Zoodealio. You can upload them in here. Now, it's going to optimize that asset across all of the different news feeds, stories, reels, placements, left, right, in the feed, all of that stuff. And so there may be a couple it doesn't work for, and that's okay. So you'll see here, like on the real tiny banners, this ad does not work for that banner. Now, I could go and create a different variation of the ad that would work for that banner and kind of satisfy that requirement. Or I could just say, it's all right if my ad isn't displayed in that tiny little banner anyway. For me, when I'm thinking of ad performance, I really want that ad to be in the feed. I really want it to be in the Reels scrolling feed. I really want it to be in the Stories scrolling feed. And so purposefully, we crafted this asset to display in those arenas really well. You'll also notice that there's some space between the ad and the start of the monitor your, and that is because when it displays in different feeds, it actually like blocks off the top and the bottom. And so you want a little bit of buffer white space so that you're not covering up your messaging. So you can play with the placement. When you upload the asset, Facebook will tell you that maybe you need to do the 9:16 variation. It's going to give you that instant feedback of what you need to do. The third one is discover your home's true worth. Instant, real value, and cash offers await. And so the neat thing about giving Facebook multiples of your headline is what it will then do is rotate them, and whatever one performs best, it will show more often. And by providing them different variations of the primary text and the headline, what it will also do is keep your ad from becoming too stale. So if somebody starts to see the same thing over and over and over again, you know, it's just like ad fatigue and they're less likely to engage in it. And so by switching these up and giving them a few, you're actually helping yourself with your ad performance, and it will do better. You can add up to 5. So these were just 3. You could add 2 more. You maybe even want to add some emojis in there just to give it some life, whatever you'd like. And then also we have 3 different headlines for you that you can use. The 3 different headlines are super simple. And again, same idea. Facebook is going to rotate those and it's going to serve up the one that performs the best. Now on the call to action, you also have to select your call to action button. I selected get access, but then we actually changed it to learn more. And the reason why is the get access button isn't compatible with Instagram stories. And so we changed it to learn more so that when the ad displays, it can also display on Instagram stories. Totally your choice on what you want to do, but this is what we feel would perform really well. Okay, so then now what you're going to do is, this is the same page, it's just you scroll down a little bit more. Now you're going to add in your website URL. So that website URL that I grabbed from my blast page, I'm gonna just put it right in there, and that's it. I didn't change anything else on here. Now you just click publish and your ad is live. So super easy. Wanted to show you how simple it is to run an ad against the Blast opt-in page. Very, very simple. Let's see. Hi, Stacia. How are you? Okay, you have a good question. Is there a way to also link your personal website? You're going to select your Facebook page, and I don't believe there's also a way to select your personal website because the ad is going directly to the Blast opt-in page. And so there's not a way to like give a secondary website. It would take a little bit of work, but you could put the Blast opt-in page as a link on your existing website if you wanted them to hit your website first and then maybe see that call to action there and then hope that they click that call to action. For me, if I was spending money on it, I would spend money on driving my traffic to the site with the single option of submitting your information, because what we know is when people are given more options on that page of, okay, maybe I can learn more about you, learn more about your market, maybe browse for homes. Now, all of a sudden, you've given them many things to do versus when you drive them just to the opt-in page, you've given them one thing to do, and that's enter their information in order to get your report. All right, so I wanted to show you that because I think it's so important that we really start connecting with our market and really start sharing about how we are the purveyor of optionality in our market. It is no longer a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to selling your home. There are multiple ways to do it. And what we know is that the cash offer value proposition is so intriguing. I say it again, or I say it a lot. I'm going to say it again. It is not always about that seller accepting a cash offer. What is it about? It's about you getting in front of them with an awesome value proposition, showing them what's possible, and then letting them make the best decision. What's likely going to happen is they're going to see you as the purveyor and the expert, and they're going to list their home with you one way or another. You're going to get that baby sold. And so I love it. Here's what I want to leave us with, though. Oftentimes, when it comes to building our business, when it comes to adding in a new funnel, so maybe you're new to adding in the cash offer value proposition in your business. Maybe you're new to geographically farming or demographically farming or whatever the thing is that you've embarked upon recently. What I know is that it takes time and consistency to do the thing over and over and over again until we get results. So I want to leave you with this quote. I love it. It's a quote from Alex Hormozi, and he said, "The world belongs to those who can keep doing without seeing the result of their doing." I'm going to leave you with that today, because what I know about real estate is I know that it takes time, it takes consistency, it takes seeing your value proposition over and over and over again. And during that process, it can become extremely frustrating because let's be real, we're in an instant gratification society. Like, I want my Amazon now results for the work that I did yesterday, but it doesn't work that way. And so just stay committed to the process. Be the one in your market who's not going to give up, who's going to continue doing the thing over and over and over again. And what I promise you is you will be the realtor in your market that outlasts the others, especially the ones that are sticking their head in the sand. There's so much change happening right now, and the world needs you to stay committed to what you do best. So thank you so much for being here with me today. I always appreciate this time. I appreciate your time learning about all we have to offer here at Zoodealio. We have some exciting things on the horizon. Over the next few months, you're going to see a massive change in your agent landing page. I gave you a sneak peek a couple weeks ago. That is in development, and so we're excited to be bringing that out here really soon. We're making massive updates to the blast page. You're gonna love it. You're gonna be so glad that you're first in your market to have it. Appreciate you all, and I will be back here with you in just a couple weeks. Next week, Elliot will be with you. Absolutely, Stacia. I will get you the slides. Anyone that would like the slides, feel free to hit me up with a quick email. I will also send you the digital asset for the Facebook ad, so you've got that. And I'll even throw the Canva link in there. So if you want to go in there and change it, you got it. You can have at it. So appreciate you all and happy selling. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.